Meeting to order. Was the meeting properly announced?
Yes, it was.
Please rise for a moment of silence in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
All members are present. John Dozel is online.
Okay, we have the agenda before us. I entertain a motion. So motion by Supervisor Scott Pease, or Rick Pease, second by Supervisor Carlson. Any discussion or questions on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. The agenda is approved. We have the March 21st committee as a whole and the county board minutes presented. Motion to approve by Supervisor Grabarski. Second by Supervisor Churko. Any discussion or questions on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Minutes are approved. No one said that. No public participation signups. Clerk, please read announcement of meetings.
Supervisors to approve the claims: Carlson's, Churko, Dozel, Egersdorf, Krug, and RPs. Churko 194.50, Paler 371.59, Gilner 271.11, Wimmer 422.38, SPs 123.10, Podolsky 176.92, Carvillo 123.10, Ken Bork 129.65, Edwards 165, West 406.31, Moans 178.76, Grabarski 297.40, Carlson 245.02, Baker 162.40, McLaughlin 165.02, Harvey Beaversdorf 55, Olson 55, BPs 110, Townsend 55, Waugh 55, 3,762.26 total.
Okay, thank you. We have no claims, no correspondence neither, right? Okay,
No correspondence.
okay. When the clerk is ready, please read the appointments and we'll take them all together unless somebody wants to pull them out separately.
Reappointment of Dr. Tom Vermouth, Tad Wermet, and Tanya Walsh Lane to the Adams County Economic Development Board of Directors.
Motion to approve, I would. Supervisor Bork, second by Supervisor Scott Pease. Okay, okay. So we don't need a second on that, right? No. Okay, so we'll have take Mr. Dr. Tom Wermus separately from Tad Werman and Tanya Walsh. So motion for the reappointment of Dr. Tom Wermus first. Motion by Scott Pease, second by Supervisor Churko. So discussion or questions on that appointment? Supervisor Podolsky.
Is Tom Wermuth present?
Not that I see.
I'm wondering why we are or should reappoint him. Does anybody have an explanation?
Yeah, Supervisor Churko.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Because he's a super qualified educator and he has a lot of input as for the economic development in Adams County. Knowing how much education has to do with economic development, he's the right guy to have on that board.
Yes,
Sure. Jay, have you been to any of the school board meetings to see any of his qualifications?
I have not.
Okay, thank you. I've been to about 8 or 9 of them and I don't see it, so.
Supervisor Rick Pease.
I've been to, for Tom alone, probably 48 school board meetings. And he conducts himself very well. He speaks very well. He's always speaks highly of Adams County and what's going on in the county. He does a wonderful job at that meeting. I've been to economic development meetings with Mr. Wormuth also. And he never shies away from a question, and he does a great job, again, representing this community, the district, and this county.
Okay. Supervisor Postoski.
I challenge that statement. There's been a lack of transparency on his part and multiple accounts at meetings. With not allowing for public participation, only limited to a few minutes. Cutting us off many times, not answering questions transparently. Just don't see him as the best interest in the public in many ways. So I won't reappoint him.
Okay. Supervisor Rick Pease.
I'd like to respond to that. Mr. Wormuth doesn't cut him off. I do. I'm the one who times 3 minutes of the meetings.
Okay.
No more or no less than what the county currently has here for the same reason. And, again, what's on our meeting agendas, what's on the meeting agenda is run by me, with the input from Mr. Wormuth as I build that agenda. And it's
Can you turn on your mic?
my mic is on.
He-
So.
Okay, go ahead.
So I disagree with what Supervisor Podolsky has said. I mean, I've been there and I've been there to a lot more meetings than he has, so.
Yeah.
I would support this.
We've had enough comments and really we should limit it to 2, right? I mean, comments by people. So I mean, so. Supervisor Paler, and well, yes, you can speak at.
I just
Supervisor.
have a question. Has anybody else stepped up to the plate for that position? Do we have a choice?
Okay. And I guess I see Mr. Okay. So, Mr. Wimmer,
I have the same question as my colleague over here, that I'm surprised there are not more nominations. What is this, kind of an inbreeding that we got going here?
Hmm. Yes, yeah. Okay,
Mr. Chair, can we proceed to vote?
yes, okay. So we're voting on the reappointment for Dr. Tom Wormuth on the Economic Development Board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay.
Nay.
Okay. Nays, raise their hand so we can put those there. Supervisor Wimmer, okay. Okay.
3.
Yes, 3, right? Okay, motion passes. Then we have the reappointment of Tad Wormuth and Tanya Walsh Lane. So Supervisor Bork, second by Supervisor Edwards. Discussion or questions on those appointments? Supervisor Postowski.
I asked the same question. Why should we reappoint these individuals? Does anybody have an answer for me, please?
Only county board supervisors can. So, okay. Yeah, Supervisor Bork.
I'll speak as to Tad Wormuth that been in business here for Adams County for between him and his dad as long as I can ever remember. And anytime you go in there and talk to him, he is always trying to figure out ways to create more businesses in town. And he's at any event around supporting the community, supporting the Chamber of Commerce. So and that's a no-brainer to me, Tad is.
Any other comments?
Yeah.
Supervisor Churko and then Supervisor Kubarski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tad puts more energy into improving his community than anyone I've ever seen personally. So that would be one big reason to keep him on that committee.
Supervisor Kubarski?
I would just ditto those types of comments. And Tad, we should be 100% behind Tad. I unfortunately don't know Tanya, but certainly for Tad, he is a community-minded person.
Supervisor Mullins and then Supervisor Wimmer.
Tanya was a branch manager at BMO for many years, and now she's a banker in Adams County in the Dells.
Okay. Supervisor Wimmer?
Yeah, in the future, I would like to see kind of a biography of the people that we appoint to these positions, because many of us live outside of Adams and we don't know who these folks even are. So I would appreciate in the future that we also have a list of people that would like to be on those boards rather than just reappoint people every year, the same people. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Supervisor Pozdowski?
Yeah, I'd agree with Bill there. Nothing against these individuals, but we do not have a lot of information here presented with this to establish credibility. So thank you.
Supervisor Edwards?
I'd like to just make one comment. These recommendations came from the Economic Development Board. And that board is comprised of very good citizens in this community who have always supported the growth of this community. And I think we can go on their recommendations instead of asking questions of people in our community that are our biggest boosters.
Okay, seeing no further comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay.
Nay.
Please rate. Okay, I don't think you have to say a reason for abstentions. So, okay, the no's by Supervisor Pozdowski and Shapey. One abstention. Okay, the motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
but if you abstain, you shouldn't be involved in the discussion then either.
Where does that come in? I don't know these folks. You know, is it fair of me to make a judgment on them if I don't know them, Mr. Chair? No
Supervisor-
problem.
Yeah.
We should come, it's done, it's over with.
Yes, yes. Well, yeah, and we should have some training on that. I mean, we've been trained on some other things where, especially if you have a conflict of interest and abstention, you should probably excuse yourself from the room when you have a conflict of interest from an abstention. And I think the Corp Council would agree on that. So if you're abstaining because of a conflict of interest, you should.
Mr. Chair, it's not a conflict of interest.
Right.
It's not having enough information on the individuals.
Okay. But no,
Thank you.
but that's, I think that's the comment that Supervisor Rick Pease was making. But if you do have conflicts of interest down the road and are abstaining because of that, you should try to remove yourself
Thank you.
from the boardroom. So, okay. We have no unfinished business. We'll move on to reports and presentations. Derek has his report and I don't. Supervisor Scott Pease.
Derek, I had a question last board meeting and I appreciate it. Very next day, you responded back to me and I just want to let you know you're doing a good job.
Okay. Supervisor Corvillo.
Yeah, Derek, in your report, you guys got a new chairperson?
No, the Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce? Oh, okay. And does that person have a name?
Yes, and I think she formally accepted, so it's Megan Stepfelberg.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Starts May 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks, Derek. Seeing no further questions, we'll move on to the county manager's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening. I'm going to first take the opportunity to recognize the Sheriff's Office in achieving the Lexipol Connect 2022 Gold. So congratulations to the sheriff and his team, and thank you for a job well done. Under capital projects, the courthouse, the reconfiguration of the court support space is complete. Work continues to the front of the building as it relates to the Veterans Memorial. The roof is just a repeat from last time. Jail kitchen, double doors in the kitchen receiving area are completed. Boardroom, the audio visual is now complete. There were some issues with the sound. I believe we had one call in tonight. There were some problems with the sound there, so we are still working on that. But tonight when we came in, I had believed that those issues were resolved, but perhaps not yet. On to page 2, community center. The HVAC is finished. Fairgrounds, there's LED upgrades going on, and that'll be going all the way through the summer. And also there's a planned midway pavement replacement scheduled. I don't think it's officially scheduled, but it's on the horizon. County Highway M, there is an update. The County G to First Avenue is scheduled for late season start. So we're looking at approximately August on that. Under happenings, the Sheriff's Department will be getting the 4th investigator. You'll see that on the agenda later on. And the Deputy Michael Aaron Shannon rededication was a successful event, and it was very well attended. Next bullet point, Rural Partners Network weekly meetings were established. I had mentioned this during the earlier committee of the whole. We had to identify a signature project. So there was a survey that went out, and the signature project has been identified as the housing development to include multifamily units. And a close second was the railroad project. So we're potentially looking into a bridge with maybe creating some spurs off the rail. And that'll attract some development in the future. This is discussions that we've had in economic development. We had close thirds. There's a number of 6s in the survey. So improve the municipal downtown. And also, I guess that would be like City of Adams and Village. And then also expanding the broadband in the area and also aiding the mid-states. If we move on to page 3, the happenings continue. There was a park survey. It was extended once through April 9th that is now closed. And then we have copiers that were deployed this month. So we got away with the desktop printers. That's going to be a cost savings to the county. What's on the horizon? Reality Days took place today. Clean Sweep, May 6th. Mark your calendars. They're still looking for volunteers for that. That was actually fun. I did that last year. So it is a very, and the time flies by because it's so busy. Splash pad presentation is now on the calendar for May 15th at 6 p.m. at the City of Adams. So if you're interested, please attend. On down into the community involvement, the 5th bullet point down, there was a meeting with Supervisor West, Jeff Hayes, Andy Phillips from Atolis Law, and it's regarding the Register of Deeds. So that area now has the 2nd position. The 7th bullet point down, this is something where there was a request from Public Safety and Judiciary from one of the board members to work with the medical examiner in the deputy medical examiner position. So we're looking to potentially raise the pay there. If you go on down, there's a bullet point where there's sub bullet points. This is the economic development. 2 items I'm just going to call out are the 10 to 12 permits for the new homes in Rome. So we're expecting some growth again this year in Rome. And then the City of Adams is also loosening up the restrictions for the industrial park. And then on the page 4, at the bottom there, this is just my department head meeting, and some points at the bottom of that meeting were the call outs for the happenings. Are there any questions on my report?
Supervisor McLaughlin and Supervisor Crew, and then Supervisor Postoskin.
I have a question about something that's not in the report. I, for one, would like an explanation regarding the very recent abrupt departure of 2 Adams County employees.
Yeah, sure, go right ahead.
in regards to personnel matters like that, we do not get into that. We cannot discuss that.
That's a pretty, so you're telling me that me and everybody else and my fellow supervisors are not entitled to that and will not find out what happened?
Correct. That is confidential information.
Okay, I guess I'll find it out. Thank you.
Supervisor Crew.
That's a hard one to follow. Mine's a little easier. I was just hoping to get a copy of that draft memorandum from Andy Phillips on the Register of Deeds. If you copy of that, I'd appreciate that.
Do you have that?
You said there, yeah.
I think I may.
And then Supervisor Postowski and then Supervisor Mullins too.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, my question is somewhat related to the question that the Supervisor Phil had asked. Now, in regards to one of the positions being vacated, how can we find out who's filling the duties of these individuals that have vacated these positions? Is there any way to find this information out, please?
Yeah, that's not really on the agenda here. It's not on the report. It's not on, we shouldn't be discussing this.
I just saw their names come up in the report there, so thank you.
It's personnel matters, so.
Mr. Chair, so I'll offer this. I did send out an email inviting board members to come and see me if you had specific questions. And then if you have matters of concern, also bring those to me. So there was an email communication that went out related to that. And as far as tasks, we're doing like a reassessment of the area right now.
Does that answer your question or?
Not, well, isn't this public records on what this information that we're,
It's personnel related and then confidential.
all right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
So Supervisor Mullins.
Off that subject, am I allowed to make a comment about the sheriff's department in this report?
And that report, yes.
I'd like to thank the sheriff's department for showing up in Barron County. There were 490 police officials in the related incidents in Barron County. And I think Adams, I'd like to thank the sheriff for attending that.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we have the committee reports. Any questions on the committee reports? Minutes? Yes, Supervisor Shaping.
On the solid waste meeting. Yes, it is. Sorry, I'll get up close and personal to it. Pardon me? Right in my lap, huh? So on the solid waste committee meeting, there was a motion to come out of closed session, but I don't think there was a motion to enact anything after that. Can anyone talk to that effect? So there is nothing that was decided and is proceeding from that closed session.
If there was nothing to vote on a report, then that doesn't need to be in there.
So when the chair, because Supervisor Gilner is the chair, right? He said you have your, what did he say? Direction. A motion is not required for that, and a second and a vote by the committee members.
If coming out of the closed session and they said you have your directions, I think that's sufficient for the meetings,
Okay,
for the minutes, excuse me.
thank you.
Supervisor Mullins.
If my memory serves me right, and I can't remember meeting times apparently, but I think we did make a motion of the committee to put it into the county managers to look at the recommendation that was made. And I want to ask if that was done, Rocky, if you remember that, because the three of us were sitting in the front as the committee members, and I think that I made that motion to put it back to the recommendation that was given.
Supervisor McLaughlin.
I remember there was a time, when county board supervisors could attend a closed session of a committee. Is that still the fact?
That's still a fact, yeah.
Any county board member can attend.
Well, they can. I think in the board rule, it says with permission, the county board, the committee chair can allow them to stay. So it could be, you know, for some reason, they could maybe not allow them to stay. But it would be probably a situation where there'd be some conflict or something.
I just want to bring it up because I have a suspicion that not all the county board members know that. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no other questions on the minutes, we'll move on. There are no ordinances. We'll move on to resolution number 12 when the clerk is ready.
Resolution 12, 2023, resolution to add an investigator position introduced by the Admin and Finance Committee, recommended for adoption by the Admin and Finance Committee this 10th day of April, 2023. Gaberski, RPs, SPs, Paler, West.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Supervisor Gabarski, second by Supervisor Paler. Any discussion or questions on resolution number 12? Supervisor Pestalski.
Mr. Chair, my question is for Sheriff York. Can you, Sheriff York, can you please better explain the cases that go further into the judicial system and how this relates to your request for an additional investigator, please?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, can I
Yes.
respond to that? Yes, so I explained it pretty in depth at the SAIL meeting to the SAIL students, but basically a lot of our investigations are complex investigations and a lot of digital evidence. So we have to do a lot of warrants to search devices, computers, tablets, and then to search inside of apps that are on those phones, require a lot of search warrants and then analyze a lot of that data, which is complex and time consuming, which has changed in recent years.
How has this changed, Brent?
Because we didn't have all that years ago.
I mean, with the judicial system, what's changed with them?
I wouldn't say anything in that respect. It's just that preparing the cases and the amount of digital evidence we didn't have years ago. So it's more complex now, and adding those extra warrants and analyzing that data to prepare for the court process.
Are there ways we can improve upon the judicial system that would help in the police work and investigations with these?
I would defer that to the court system.
Yeah, it's nothing we can do here, so. Supervisor Wimmer?
Just a clarification, Mr. Chair, is this the position that the county board voted on several meetings ago? And this position is now being filled? Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I was kind of unclear to me because I didn't know we
Yeah.
had 3 investigators and when we passed that before.
Okay.
I thank you for that. And I do have one other question. In our board, administrator and our administrator's presentation, we're doing really well in our drug crisis prevention. And I would tell you that we're doing really well, we're the only county in the world that is doing well. Because I don't know Sheriff York pretty well, but I gotta
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with this resolution. So,
It's out of order. Are you
Yeah.
saying that?
yeah, that's what, yeah.
Okay.
So. Okay. Anything on the resolution further? Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Seeing that, hopefully everybody has their voting thing. Clerk's ready? Okay, please vote.
Olzalzi, yes.
Total votes 20, 19 yes, 1 no, Podolsky. 2 Sale, yes.
Okay. Resolution number 12 is adopted. When the clerk is ready, we'll move on to resolution number 13.
Resolution 13, 2023, resolution to add mechanic 1 position. Introduced by the Highway Committee, recommended for adoption by the Highway Committee this 9th day of March 2023. Carlson, SPs, Bork, Egersdorf, McLaughlin, recommended for adoption by the Admin and Finance Committee this 10th day of April 2023. Gabarsky, RPs, SPs, Paler, West.
Motion to approve by Supervisor Carlson, second by Supervisor Paler. So we have resolution number 13 on the floor. Any discussion or questions? Supervisor Pozdowski.
Yeah, I have a question for whoever's available to take this question. What's the difference between the mechanic 1 position and the shop superintendent? It seems like their positions and duties are very similar and just having trouble differentiating the two.
And the highway commissioner's here if you'd want to answer that, please.
They are similar in their work. However, the shop superintendent is more of an administrative type position, whereas our mechanic 1 position is more of a technical type person who does more analytics, more diagnostic, more shop floor type activities. Stepping back to our shop superintendent, that again is more of an administrative type person who will do equipment specs, parts ordering, vendor meets and things like that.
All right, thank you for that. One more question here. Would this be an example of a duty mechanic 1 would perform? Recently, there was a simulation done to show concerns about intersections that I had in Newchester district concerning the stop intersections. And it was done with a tractor going 10 miles an hour, which would have taken hours to travel from the highway department to the Newchester district and then completely circle the Newchester district with these intersections that I have concerns about in entirety and back to the highway department. Would have been more practical and realistic to do this with a regular vehicle versus a tractor going 10 miles per hour.
I don't think that has to deal with that position.
Absolutely not. I wonder,
How do, yeah. So,
try to get back to some closeness to the agenda item, please.
One more question.
make sure it pertains to the position. please.
Yeah, no, it said, they require a CDL and requirements. I do see that there's hazardous materials that they will be working with. Would it be reasonable and responsible to also include a hazmat endorsement for these, for this individual, being they're going to be operating, equipment and nearly or around with hazardous materials?
Highway Commissioner, yes, please.
None of our operators are required to have hazardous endorsement. None of our drivers. They're not hauling fuel.
They're was listings of hazardous materials. Now, what happens if there's a spill or something happens? Are they trained properly on how to handle the situation like you had learned?
Then we call emergency management. Emergency management has a
Hazmat training, they provide that, so you know what to do in an emergency.
Yes, so. Yeah. Everybody in their job comes across hazardous materials. So, well. Yeah. Any other comments?
I'm gonna move that no action is taken due to these circumstances.
Yeah. Right, and he's. Is there a second on the motion? No second on the motion, so the motion fails for lack of a second. We'll call for a vote on resolution number 13.
Dolzal's yes.
Total votes 20, 19 yes, 1 no, Podolsky, 2 Sale, yes.
Okay. Resolution number 13 is adopted. We have no denials or petitions. I entertain a motion to approve claims, please read by the clerk, Supervisor Carlson, second by Supervisor Carvillo. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those against signify by saying nay. Claims are approved as previously read. Clerk, please read per diem and mileage when you're ready.
Turco 141.92, Paler 100, Gilner 132.75, Wimmer 132.75, SPs 106.55, Podolsky 120.96, Dozel 109.04, Carvillo 106.25, Egersdorf 102.62, Fork 75, Edwards 100, RPs 100, West 108.75, Moans 107.86, Gaberski 113.10, Carlson 118.34, Baker 126.20, McLaughlin 126.20, grand total 2,028.29.
Motion to approve the claims. Supervisor Turco, second by Supervisor Carlson. Any discussion or questions on per diem and mileage? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Per diem and mileage are approved.
Make a motion for the county clerk to correct any and all errors and read back at the next meeting if so requested.
Second by Supervisor Moans. All in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion is approved. Next meeting date. May 16th at 6 o'clock. So I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you.